All right, good luck, boys.
Yeah.
Right, thanks, man.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna mute now.
And welcome, everybody, for the much anticipated rematch between OntheAtack and Jaco. We got some TVZ coming for you. Season 2 of the BSL. Best of 5. Two titans colliding. OntheAtack has got to be the favorite. He won last time. But we've heard that Jaco, he's been practicing. He's been getting the reps in. He's a new player, he says. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. In the top right corner, the blue Terran. OntheAtack. In the top left corner, the red Zerg, Jaco. Jaco here, sending the Overlord to the right side. Supply depot on the top of the ramp for OntheAtack. Very standard. We wonder what the strategy is going to be on this map. It's a very small map. It's going to reward rushing. That small travel distance from natural to natural. Will that be a factor in this game as Jaco gets the 17 hatch down? Barracks. The top of the ramp. OntheAtack not going for the low ground wall off. He's doing the high ground wall off. Sending an SCV across the map. He wants to scout if there's any early pool shenanigans, perhaps. That Overlord's creeping to the right side for some eventual natural scouting. The SCV's coming in here. So, a bit of dead time. Not much going on. We got the lull, the calm before the storm. CC on the low ground here for OntheAtack. He's not so much fearing a Baneling rush. Maybe he thinks Jaco's going to pivot away from that because it didn't work out so well for him in Season 1. And look at this here. eBay block at the third base location. And it's so strong on Ghost River because there's no other third base location. Like in most maps, you can have the option between two places. One may be slightly more preferable than the other. But if you get blocked, you can always go to the other. On Ghost River, if you get eBay blocked, well, you got no other option for a decent third. And Jaco's third base is very delayed now. With that extra mineral, he's plopping down a Roachmoran. The Lings, in my opinion, should be DPSing that block down so he can get a third base up ASAP. But hey, maybe Jaco's got other ideas. So that Roach Warren is coming down. Maybe he's thinking to fight back with some aggression instead. Okay, now here the Lynx come to unblock the third. And meanwhile, let's take a look at the production tab here for both players. Roaches, Baneling Nest on the way for Jaco. We got Raxes. One Rax on the way. Orbital Command coming up at the natural. 4 OntheAtack. Okay, swapping the factory in onto the reactor. So maybe some Hellion play will be going down here. Yeah, double Hellion from OntheAtack. So he's switching things up. I don't think he pulled out a double Hellion opener in the first game. And look at this from OntheAtack. The quick second factory here. Is this going to be more of a mech build? Well, he is getting Raxes up behind this. Some kind of hybrid. That early second factory. Very good against a ground Zerg going Roach Hydra, which Jaco has clearly demonstrated is his preferred mid-game unit composition. So that double factory. Maybe to get a high siege tank count up as quickly as possible. That's what OntheAtack is going for. But for the meantime, this other factory is pumping out Hellions. So we'll see if there's a tech lab swap in the future. If he switches to tanks after he gets some early Hellions out. Hellions very good early for lane defense. Also moving into drone lines. But as the game progresses, they're only really a harass unit. They're not great as part of an army, barring any early Hellbat pushes. Which I don't think is in the cards here for OntheAtack based on what I see. And we got Jaco coming up here with Overlord speed, Ling speed. Checking the third base location with his Lings. And this Overlord here probably eventually going to come in for a scout with the Overlord speed. And look at this, the factory now switching to double Widowmine as these Hellions come outside the third. And there's just a couple of roaches here for Jaco, but he's got the right kind of unit to deal with this, but just the roach count. Is it high enough? He's got 6 roaches. Now, if these 6 roaches were in position, he can hold no problem, but the roaches are kind of scattered a little bit everywhere. There's only 1 roach at this third base. But the problem is here, OntheAtack, he's idling with these Hellions for way too long. He's got to get busy. Now he's coming in, takes out a drone. More drones going down here OntheAtack. Starting to barbecue. Will he get the kill on this roach? Gets the roach, and now he's getting the hell out of there. He's got 1 beat up Hellion, so that was effective. Oh no, he's going back to the mineral line. Wants more drones, gets 2 more drones. Some very nice play. But regardless, Jaco is still up 15 workers. And I think it's because there's no third CC out for OntheAtack, so he's still limited at 2 SCVs at a time. And a 3 hatchery Zerg can outproduce that in workers all day. Siege tank coming out here for defense. Orbital, or sorry, a command center is now coming up. It'll likely be an orbital later, but it's starting at the front door. But it's a little bit late in my opinion. And we got Jaco here now, droning up 58 drones. Just needs about 5 more for 2 base saturation. And look at this over-droning here at the third base. Jaco really pouring the drones on, and look at this, the Ling going to work. As OntheAtack actually tried to get a 4th up at the third base location, and actually that's a pretty good play. He needs more command centers. So he was late getting that 3rd up, so why not double up, make this a backup orbital or planetary or something. So you can always mule more, and then you'll have this one on location. But it's Jaco preparing for an attack now. He's at around 100 supply, but to be honest, his supply is not that much more than Atack's right now, especially as a Zerg player, going roaches. He has the economic advantage in terms of workers, so why not leverage that and get maxed out and then attack? Why attack now when the supplies are closer to even? But he doesn't want Atack to get that 3rd and 4th base up. Banelings actually are getting decent value, even though they're slowlings. They're crashing in there, and the Marauders were fighting outside of tank range. And Atack now stimming, and he is just wrecking this force. The Ravagers are caught out. They're not tanky enough to deal with this. They're trying to run away. And that's what I was talking about. A kind of a 100 supply attack with Roach Ravager, just as his 3-base economy was kicking in. Now Jaco's taking a trade here. I don't think he wants to take, to be honest. But nonetheless, OntheAtack is backing up. I'm not sure if he needed to. Only 1 tank on the map for OntheAtack. I'm a little bit surprised about that, to be honest. So maybe this will work. I don't know. It's close. Widow Mines get value. I don't think there's any chance the Widow Mines get pushed into or can be penetrated beyond this point up here. But there is a chance for Jaco to dislodge this location. OntheAtack wisely gets a planetary. This should be made into an orbital, in my opinion. But he's a little bit flustered now as APM is being taxed, as Jaco is pressuring. Let's look at the upgrades here. 1-1 at least for Jaco. He's coming in, trying to take out the planetary, but I don't know, attacking into a planetary, this bio is going to work. There's not enough Ravagers to kill the repairing SCVs. What a disaster. Terrible disaster for Jaco. The stim forward from OntheAtack. And wow. I feel like Jaco, he had better fundamentals in this game. But his tactics and his timing, decision on when to push out, a little bit suspect. Now, ATAC is pushing across the map, but there are 19 roaches on the way for Jaco. There's a spine there, a couple queens also. So he's got to watch out. He doesn't have many tanks. And Hellions, they're not going to do that great for him. In a fight here, let's see. One tank gets sieged up. The two queens come forward. Jaco needed to wait for the rest of his reinforcements before making that engagement. Very costly. Now he's beelining for the tank, but there's just too much bio here in the front line protecting the tanks, so... Oh my god. And the pressure of OntheAtack is wilting. The Zerg player, Jaco, getting banged and bruised up. It's responding to that aggression, responding to that pressure. Yes, there's only one tank. Yes, you got 19 roaches on the way. But if you don't wait for all of them to be there when you engage, if you engage willy-nilly, if you trickle in, that's going to be the end of you. As now the reinforcements have gotten in between. ATAC has gotten in between the reinforcements, that is. Now the Roach Ravager coming on the north. ATAC maybe extending a little bit too far outside of tank range. Left that tank exposed. It's even a ghost in the mix. ATAC's got the 3 bases up and running now. And Jaco trying to move into Lings, but this is really rough for him. The ghosts. Killing off a creep tumor, and I think this is over now. It's going to be really hard for a 2-base Zerg to continue into that late game. Especially when the opponent is a Terran on 3 bases with ghosts out. Let's look at the upgrades for OntheAtack. He's got 1-2 versus 2-2. Slight upgrade advantage for the Zerg player, but it doesn't matter. And Jaco just taking a fight. No need to draw this out needlessly. GG has been called.